Alright everybody, sitting out here at the workbench working on a Nintendo DSi. It wouldn't charge and it would not power on. So I grabbed another battery out of another one I had that I know is good. And it still did the same thing, and this one works in the other one. And it also charges, so I knew it was good. So I got to thinking about the power supply. This board here is where the battery hooks in. You guys can see there in the back there. So this is our power supply board from the battery to the motherboard. So what I got to do, and I got to test the components here. It's probably hard to show you guys, especially because my camera probably won't. You might can see it up there. You got ground, and then the one right below it is the actual power in. So I was running tests with my meter over here in the background. I got it set to continuity with the beep, and I was testing this little board from here to here's ground. I thought I had my thing. Yeah, there we go. If I can get my fingers right. You guys can hear we got ground. So I tested that circuit, it worked just fine, and I was noticing there's a little negative and a positive here on this board, and I know that's really hard to see. But I ended up testing, like now it'll work because I bridged the gap. But there was a little fuse link here. I'll try to show you guys a little bit better. Hopefully. There we go. So you got the ground and the power. Then over here you got your plus for the power side and your ground for the negative. Well, I was testing from this positive over to VCC there. I didn't have anything, and that circuit runs direct. Let me get something to point with here. That circuit runs right through where this fuse was. So the fuse was bad, and I tested continuity from here to here. It was definitely bad. So what I ended up doing, I grabbed this gauge wire. I don't know what size the wire is, but I ended up grabbing that. The resistance was right on the wire, so I ended up, soldering a piece of that in there to bridge the gap. And now we're going to test it, and hopefully this will be a how to fix no power, no charge on a DSi video, or a massive failure. We'll see just here in a minute. Get this thing put back together, and I'll show you guys sort of kind of how to take it apart, because it's pretty simple. This is really simple. The hardest thing here is this little cable, and it fits on this little tiny connector on the motherboard itself. That's super hard, or for me it is. It's aggravating to put back. I wish I had left that intact. So I'll bring you guys back when we get it put back together, and I'll show you a few things about how to take it apart, which is simple, and then we'll get to testing it. Okay, so if you're tearing this apart, I guess I'm doing this in reverse order. To take this power supply board out, it's just a couple screws here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 screws. This little plug, it does not pull out this way. It actually lifts up and out, because I can't really zoom in much farther. You can tell how it's made here. Do not try to pull this out, because you'll pull your connections loose within the connector. And the other one is just your same old run-of-the-mill flip up, pull out connector. Now here I've got this cable up to the top part of the console, or the bottom, down to the bottom of it. Got it back connected again, and that right there for me is a nightmare. So I would suggest, if you try to repair a system like this, do not let this come loose. Oh, dadgummit. Kind of lean the back shell back like that to where you can access the power supply board. Okay, so now that we got the shell back together, we have, I forget, it's like one screw here, one here, and these two are under this little stoppers if nobody's had it apart, and I actually lost one of them, which is a bummer. But you got one here. There's one little, the lighting's terrible. One little black one here, one here, and here. So that's pretty much it as far as that goes. And in order to pry the shell apart, I used a spudger, and of course, I guess I need to show you guys the tools. I guess, of course, a meter, if they will float back there. And this wire, it actually come from a, I don't remember. I just had them cut up in pieces because I use these to bridge, you know, connections or whatever. Then we used the 2 screwdrivers, small screwdrivers, one Phillips, one flat, a pair of side cutters, the spudger, and of course a soldering iron. And yeah, that's all we used. Alright, so we got her back together. Again, I hate I lost that, dadgummit. We got all the screws back in all the right locations, so now it's time to put the battery in and see if this thing works. Stick the battery in and power this dude on. Let's see if I can open this with one hand. Yeah, there we go. Alright, the moment of truth. Do you power on? That is awesome. It powers on, it works. That is freaking awesome. So the use of that wire to jump the fuse definitely worked, and I checked the continuity on another fuse that was good. I just wanted to try some, you know, way if you didn't have the ability to get the fuses or whatever. So this size wire, it works. That's awesome. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time. And as always, oh yeah,